And we are live. I am Adam. This is Open Late. And I didn't do a very good job of that intro. I'm trying to figure out how to have that little video at the beginning and have it sort of coincide with the music ending and the little video clip ending and on and on and on. But I don't know what I'm doing. Tonight I do know what I'm doing tonight. I will be opening the Cobra Hiss Techno-Viper and H.M.S, which is the Heetseek missile system. This is a great additional piece to the Hiss tank, of course. But I'm curious, now that they've announced the Stinger, I'm also curious if this is going to fit on the tow hook or on the back of the vamp, because if it fits on a vamp, it will in fact fit on a Stinger. At least I believe that it will. So I'm curious to see how that goes. Now, I of course got the standard Techno-Viper. Great figure, really digging this figure. Love the purple, which is sort of the vintage original deco for the Techno-Viper. So I'm kind of, I'll be totally honest. I bought this for the H.M.S. I did not buy this for the Techno-Viper. The like the Hiss, the 788 fire team or whatever, all the Hiss kind of colorway figures, I'm not that big on. I don't really care for them. I'm much more interested in troop builders that are, I guess, like true to the vintage colorways. And I'm not like a stickler for the vintage colorways. Like I'm not even really collecting the retro carded figures. But uh but there's like a difference between modern updates of vintage figures like this guy, and then just sort of redecos for the sake of redecos. And I get, I know that a lot of people appreciate these like Hiss troopers, this black sort of colorway with like red armor and whatever. But it's not really for me. So all that to say, I'm probably not going to keep this Techno-Viper. I am going to keep the H.M.S. I'm very excited to get the H.M.S. But the Techno-Viper, we'll see. Anyways, let's get this guy out of the box. But before I do that, let's take a look at the box. This is very much in the same style that we've seen the other kind of Hiss tank adjacent figures. So it's the black box, with the red, not quite monochromatic, but like very much a specific color palette that they're using for these. It just occurred to me. Um, that I have some of these boxes. So, just as a reference point, like that's the Hiss driver box. So they're continuing, with the aesthetic of these boxes. Hiss on one side, the art on one side. That, so there's that box as a reference. And then we get this box, and it's got sort of the same thing. So you've got that. I don't know if you're going to be able to make it out very well, but there's a Hiss sort of blueprint there. What you might see, just because of the glare of the lights, is that a lot of this is embossed. Like, by that I mean like almost all of it is embossed. So it is a very nice box. The stripes down here are embossed. GI Joe's embossed. So there's a bunch of detail work on there. The art is in line with the Hiss tank, which I appreciate that they're doing that. Like, I appreciate the effort on the part of Hasbro, on the effort of the GI Joe brand team. This stuff just doesn't really do it for me. The H.M.S, I'm digging. The tie-in figures, it is what it is. It's not for everybody, and it's not meant to be. Cobra Hiss logo on that side, you'll have to take my word for it, because this thing is huge, and it doesn't really fit. The art on the side there, number 111. So this is a numbered release. So if you're a completist and you know you need to get everything, this is going to be on your list. And then on the back, of course, we get the blueprint, very vintage inspired, very inspired by you know what you used to get with vehicles and such. Bunch of legalese on the bottom, which is not that exciting, but you get the specialty icon designations up at the top there, and you know the loadout in the box. So you get the H.M.S, you get the missiles, and then you get all the accoutrement to go with the Techno-Viper. Um, Now, what I'm curious about is whether this Techno-Viper is like boxed, or whether the Techno-Viper is quite simply just kind of like tucked in here. We've sort of seen it both ways, and I'm genuinely curious. If it's boxed, if it's boxed, I'm not 100% certain that I'm going to open it, because like I said, I don't really care for it and I probably won't keep it. But anyway, let's open this up and find out. Um, so we get a footlocker, and then we get the whole shebang comes out basically in one go, and some blueprints. Let me set this box aside. All right, so there it is. There's sort of everything out of the box. It's first impression, these are way bigger than I thought they were going to be. These are big suckers. Then we get the blueprints. We'll start there. I don't think I'm going to need the blueprints. I think it's probably going to be pretty straightforward. Just looking at it, I think you plug this onto this, plug the wheels on, and away you go. Oh no, it's a little bit more complicated than that. I do need to put these little sort of feet on. So, but yeah, that's it. That's the blueprint. You know, it's just like a single spread. So there's not you know, not too complicated. And I didn't think it would be. You know, I genuinely thought that this was going to be, you know, all of what we were going to see. The Foot Locker, I believe, is probably going to be more like figure accessories than it's going to be H.M.S. accessories. So I will open that up after. Let me get this stuff all out. Get my handy multi-tool here. I wonder. So I think this tray is going to come out as soon as I clip these. Now I will I will say, as I'm sort of unboxing missiles and clipping wires, I just feel like I'm like disarming a bomb or something. It's kind of funny. But these things are huge. Like these are really big. Like that's the size of of the figure. So that's pretty impressive. You get 3 of those. What next? What next? The main body of the H.M.S. The launcher. It's you know, it's not tucked in here in a terribly complicated way, but it works. When I do these ones, when I do like these big ones that are like multiple pieces, like a vehicle like this, these videos are not the best. So forgive me if you're absolutely bored out of your mind while I'm doing this, because sometimes I also do get a little bit distracted when there's a lot going on. But I will try to interact with the comments and stuff. Once I get this guy out of the box, I'll definitely check in, because I'm admittedly not paying very close attention at the moment as I try to get this stuff all out, make sure that I have everything. And there we go. Everything's out of the box. Let's see if I can get this guy to stand up. Now, with my Techno-Viper, the waist was loose. This one is not, and the head was loose, and this one is not. So this is I would say this is almost a better Techno-Viper than mine is. And I will say that the deco on this is pretty good. I will give them credit that it does look good. And I mean, if you like this color palette, then I think this particular figure looks really good. As I said, I passed on that 788 Fire Team because the idea of it and the color palette just don't really do much for me. But anyway, let's. Okay, so we need more pieces, and more pieces I believe are going to be in the Foot Locker. So let's get this Foot Locker open. So initially I was under the impression that the Foot Locker would just be the Techno-Viper's accessories, but that is not the case. Oh yeah, it's literally a mixed bag. All right, so one bag had the feet, and these feet are really light. They don't have the same kind of weight. They're really hollow. These feel out of place compared to a lot of the other stuff that we've gotten recently. Anyway, same tires as the Vamp, so that's interesting. Now they, we're gonna have left and right, but the tread is gonna be the wrong way on one of them. So I'm gonna flip one of these tires again, and I am going to, I'm gonna flip this one. Yeah, I'm gonna flip that one when I get there. Give me a minute. I'll flip it once I take a look at this stuff. So this is also going to be for the H.M.S. So that is gonna go there. This little hatch is also for the H.M.S. I know where that goes. And then the Techno-Viper's stuff is all going to go right there. So let's see. Should I flip the tire first? Yeah, I'm going to flip the tire first. So the tires, they put them all on the exact same. So all of the tires, the tread is going the same direction, whether that's left or right, and that drives me crazy because no tire, like, tires have direction, and it's not it's not a symmetrical tread, and so there's no way that it would be a like front or back, doesn't matter. There's a direction to these tires, and generally speaking, there's sort of like a V shape to most treads in tires. And when I look at these, this one seems to have that more for me than this one does. Which I know people are probably like, that's crazy, that doesn't make any sense. That's fine. You do what you want with your toys. I am going to flip this tire. And to flip the tire, all I'm going to do is pop out the wheel bit, flip it around, and pop it right back in. Now the tricky part is making sure that you get the two little like flanges of the tire back where they should be. But that one was really, really easy. My Vamp tires weren't quite that easy. One of them gave me a bit of trouble, but anyway. So there you go. Now you have left and right, and they are going in the same direction. So it just makes sense. Drives me, like, as I said, it drives me crazy that they didn't do that on their own. Because it's not that hard. It's not that complicated to do that. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Man, it's feeling lonely here today, but Loco Basewalker says, this is Luke. Long time I was able to see a live stream. Happy unboxing. It's a great set. Good to have you here. Always fun to open toys with friends. So good to have you. All right, so I am going to put the H.M.S together first. Then I will take a look at this Techno-Viper, compare him to the purple one, and then I'm gonna sort of fit this up with the H.I.S.S tank and fit it up with the Vamp, or try to fit it up with the Vamp to sort of see if it's going to work with a Stinger. So first things first, I'm actually going to put the feet on first, and the now let's see here. This goes on like so. I will say I do enjoy that there is assembly required, and the reason that I do enjoy that assembly is required is because it feels a little more. It feels a little more vintage G.I. Joe. Like I would kind of hate to just get these and have them be 100% built already, because this reminds me of being a kid and having to put them together. You know, when you get them as a kid. All right, get one more on here. There's a little tab down in here that prevents this from going any further. That doesn't seem right though. Maybe it is. It does like lock the little feet in. So I guess that's probably the intention, is to have them locked in. The feet on the back fold down. There's a bit of paint. There's not a ton of paint on here, but that's fine. Maybe I'll get everything together and then I'll take a look at it. But I will show you on the bottom here. There's sort of a fan that's painted in a metallic. That's the only paint on the bottom, and that's fine because you're not really going to look at the bottom too much. This feels very hollow. It's very light. That's perfectly fine for me. Doesn't affect me. I'm good with that. This feels a little heavier. There's sort of more going on almost. Anti-jam. I like this. Anti-aircraft joint asset movement system equipped with hydraulic launch elevation mod serial number, and then there's a whole big bunch of numbers. I wonder if there's any significance to that number. I bet there is, but I bet we'll never know what that significance is. So it goes from level to, you know, elevated, but it won't go any further. So there you go. That is going to plug on to the top here, I presume. Yeah, so it's like a mushroom peg there. There's sort of a notch joint here. There, I don't think, bear with me. Inside here is sort of a knot. The hole is like notched, so I don't really know how to explain that very well, but let me adjust this a little. I don't think the light's gonna pick it up, but basically there's like 3 parts on the inside there, and it's sort of slotted, so that this is gonna pop right in. It's gonna be probably pretty easy to pop in. It was, but then once it's in, it's not coming out, right? So that's good, sort of a positive engagement. It's not too stiff. It's pretty smooth. I'm happy with that. One more little piece that is gonna pop on. So this is just gonna, I think, click into place. Not even click. It's just sort of a friction fit. But that's fine. I like that. I like that we do have the option. Oh, that is snug. You do have sort of the option to have, you know, a little control panel there, and then the tires are going to go on. Now I got to make sure that I put them on the right side after I did get those tires set up. So is that right? Is that what I thought? Yeah. So with the feet down, the wheels are off the ground, so those can spin freely. So it's not going anywhere. And then you take these giant jumbo missiles, and they're big. I mean, this figure is 6 inches tall, so the missile is probably 8 inches, give or take. And you got 3 of them, so they're going to mount on here. Interestingly, the notches on the missile are, you know, the hole at the back is larger, the hole at the front is a little bit smaller, and that actually matches the mount. So you can't put them on backwards. They would not fit, which is, you know, they don't have to do it that way, but it certainly makes it so that it's easier to get it right. This thing is really, really big. That's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I mean, there's the figure. That is substantial. Let me just adjust this one last time. Get it in there so that there we go. We'll just leave it as such. All right, now that is, you know, the H.M.S. The thing is really, really big. You know, the feet go up and they lock. Now this is interesting, and I wonder. This is so I'm curious about this for the H.I.S.S versus the Vamp. Um, this little tab, which is sort of the tab that will allow you to hook it onto a vehicle, has 2 pieces, so it will fold up and fold out like that. So I'm kind of thinking that the H.I.S.S, it'll work, you know, folded up, and then for the Stinger, you might need to fold it down, because I think the hook on the Vamp, you know, the hitch on the Vamp is going to be a little bit lower. But we will see. With those feet up, you know, this thing can roll on those relatively soft plastic tires. But as I said, when you got the feet all down, this is off, so the tires can spin freely. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Let's take a look at the Techno-Viper, and then I will come back and hitch this thing onto the H.I.S.S tank. All right, so the Techno-Viper, as I said, I have got the standard Techno-Viper here as well. Love, love, love the purple deco on that guy. Don't love the deco on this guy. I've said this before. I just don't, you know, black and red and then sort of gray by extension as a deco choice feels, I don't know. It feels like such a generic choice. It feels like a bit of a cop out. It feels like an easy choice. It feels like a safe choice. And I don't really love it. Now, as I said, I like that Hasbro is doing the this sort of 788 thing, where they're giving us like multiple troops all in that same deco. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that they're building out sort of a whole team. But I just, for me, it's not necessary, and so this figure is probably going to end up, in the hands of another collector. So compared to, the purple on this guy, we basically, wherever we see light purple, we see gray on the H.M.S version, on the H.I.S version. Wherever we see the dark purple, we see the red. And then in addition, he has got a couple of gold hits. There's a little bit of gold detail, on the displays. The displays for this guy, I think, the displays for the purple guy are sort of red on purple, and they look more like digital displays. The gold on black doesn't look as much like a digital display, but that's okay. It doesn't have to look the same. If it did, it would be a little bit disappointing. The backpack is effectively the same, with the tanks being red instead of purple. So that's pretty straightforward. We get the hose, we get the laser rifle, which is a great little accessory. We get the 3 tools that will plug into the Techno-Viper's backpack, 2 hooks or 2 sort of claws and a hammer. Exactly the same as what we got with the standard release Techno-Viper. We get the same pistol that we got with the Techno-Viper. And then last but not least, of course, we get the little holographic projection, which is, I think, super, super cool. It is a different color. It is a slightly different shade. So this one's more of a red on the standard Techno-Viper. This one feels a little bit more orange. Maybe, yeah, I'm going to say it's orange. I'm going to call it orange. So what's interesting, though, is that the red of this one kind of matches the little screens on the wrists for the standard Techno-Viper, whereas on this one they just don't match. They just don't. It doesn't quite make sense. Like, I would think that this readout would be orange and it would match this. This is a cool accessory, though, where you get this sort of heads up thing that plugs into the little wrist heads up display so that he can get his information. As I said, this figure's not doing much for me. I don't know. I appreciate it. I get it. I know what they're doing. They're trying to give people, like it's a world building thing, right? It's just not a world that I need built for me, at least, personally. So I'm not going to pose him. You know what a figure poses like in the G.I. Joe classified line. There he is. That's the Techno-Viper. This guy, as I said, is going to end up, in the hands of another collector. So I'll probably reach out to a few people and see. I'm sure there's somebody that's, passed on the H.M.S. but still wants that figure. And so I will be very, very happy to help somebody out. Now, last thing I'm going to do tonight is hitch this onto a H.I.S. tank and hitch it onto a vamp to see how it's going to look, in theory, on a Stinger. Now that the Stinger has been announced and is scheduled for pre-order on the 18th, I think, it'll be cool to see. It'll be cool to see if this is going to work with the Stinger, because I'll be totally honest, as much as this has sort of been sold as like a H.I.S. tank accessory, for me this makes more sense to kind of go with a Stinger. Personally, I don't know. I mean, that's just a weird thing. Okay, so the H.I.S. is huge. So which way is this going to work best? I think I'm going to go this way. Let's see if I can even fit this in the screen. Boof, there it is. It's huge. It's awesome. It's the H.I.S. tank. Now, as far as hitching this on, I'm going to put the feet up. And try to figure out. Okay, so this little tab, as I was sort of speculating that we would need to like adjust this tab for different vehicles, for the H.I.S., it's actually like at the lowest setting that it's actually going to work. And I will point out that it's a little bit, keyed's not the right word, but just so much plastic here. Hold on. Oh shoot, bumped it again. I can't find a good angle here. This angle will do. So you can sort of see that this isn't just a straight oval. There's sort of a notch to this. So you sort of put it on and then slide it, and it'll sort of lock in. But that's going to be virtually impossible to show you, because how do I show this? This thing is so dang big and heavy. So there you can sort of see that it's locked in, it's tabbed in. Yeah, it works. It locks in and it tabs in, and it works. This thing is huge. Well, hold on. There you go. So the phone that I'm using as my camera is now sort of off the mount, and I can show you what I'm talking about a little bit better. Maybe, maybe not. So there it is, locked on to the hitch. But it's big. I mean, this combination is very large. So yeah, there you go. Now, let's disconnect it from the H.I.S. and hook it up with a vamp, and let's see how that works. Let me just get the H.I.S. out of the way. Get the vamp in here. The vamp's big too. I mean, the H.I.S. is big. Okay, so it's the other way around. So the vamp is actually got a higher hitch point than the H.I.S. So you got to flip that up, and then look at that. It's like right on the right level, almost as though it was done on purpose. Almost. Yeah, and it locks in. So the hitch is like exactly the same. So that is going to work absolutely perfectly. Again, it's almost like they meant to do that. It's almost like they designed it with that in mind. Now, what I will say is it's going to be pretty cool because you're going to get the Stinger with the missile launcher on the back, as well as the H.M.S. So you're going to have these like competing missile launchers if you go Stinger plus H.M.S, which I think is going to look absolutely amazing, and just going to be a really, really fun way to sort of load out your Stinger. And I absolutely love the vamp and sort of love love the Stinger, love the Vamp Mark II, love Tiger Sting. I'll get all of them. Whatever, however many versions they do, I will get. Now this is like locked on here, so how am I going to get this off? There's a lot less room here to engage and or disengage this. How to disengage your H.M.S. That was not in the instructions. All right. Well, that's tricky. I'm thinking so that this little hitch will rotate. And I wonder if that's how I'm going to do it. Well, this sure makes for exciting content. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to get this off. Oh, wait. Wait, I just had an idea. I could just unclip this thing. Yeah, there we go. Oh, but it doesn't want to come off. All right. Fair warning. If you connect it, it doesn't want to disconnect. So if yours doesn't come off, don't blame me. Blame Hasbro. All right. So there it is. That's the H.M.S. That is the Techno-Viper. Very cool little piece. Very fun. I think this is going to be like a great sort of play value add to anybody that has a H.I.S. tank. I would strongly recommend you grab one of these. I have no idea if this is sold out or not. So, you know, I forgive me if I'm being insensitive by saying go out and grab one of these. If you can do, if you can't, sorry. Anyways, it's great. And with the Stinger coming out, I would strongly recommend this to anybody that's into the GI Joe classified line, or anybody that likes this sort of idea of something like this. Yeah. As I always say, it is always better to open toys with friends. It's nice to have you guys join me, and if you're watching on the replay, I appreciate you as well. Until next time, bye bye.